time you transform something, you cut it or you dry it or you steam it or something, you lose properties. And once you start doing the early stages, you know, you get again into some kind of industrialization.
Eventually it will evolve again into something industrial.
Yeah, but look, here's the one thing, and this is like what I learned in Ecuador. Like in Ecuador is this thing, these people, they're not like here, because they have everything every day. They don't have to worry about a cold winter or anything, anytime something's not available. Everything is always available. So they don't really, you know, they don't care in a certain way. So if they say like, see you tomorrow, that could be in 2 days. You know, it's like, because, you know, that's just how they live their thing. It's like, tomorrow what, Ecuadorian time or real time? You know, it's like 2 o'clock Ecuadorian time or real time. Because they say like, see you at 2 o'clock, and then they show up at 4 or something, and you're just wondering what's going on. Because they're living in a totally different mentality. Here we have like 4, 5, 6 months of cold where we need to prepare. I mean, now not as much as in the older days, but you know, this is how the sauerkraut and putting the carrots in the sandbox and the beets so that they would have fresh produce during the winter time. You know, apples, they have certain varieties that last even in the basement down there till like April, May, until like the next fresh stuff comes in. So you have a totally different mindset because you have to prepare for the winter. There you don't have to prepare for the winter. That's why I like to just say like September, okay, I'm out of here, ciao, you know, and I'm going to where I don't have to worry about this stuff, you know. It's one of my ways, you know, I learned that from the birds. When it gets cold, they move south. So it's like I'm into the raw food, and I just have to adopt, you know, my lifestyle to that. So when it gets cold, I got to go where it's warm, you know. It's like, exactly. You build wings too if you drink enough of that green juice, you know, and next thing you know, you're flying, you know. Actually, in my dreams, I'm flying a lot, and when I eat too much food, then I feel heavy and I can't lift off. It's just like carry all this weight, you know. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, right, you can't lift off because you're too heavy, and this is the whole problem we're facing in this world. These people that eating like meats and all of stuff, it's heavy, it keeps you down on this earth plane. You can't go to the light, but we're really light beings, you know. Our whole energetic setup, our soul bodies, our spiritual bodies are made of light. You know, the only thing that is this casing. It's like this box that houses like the soul and the spirit. It's in there, and a lot of people are dormant spiritually. They haven't even woken up the spirit yet. It's like the seed, you know, that has the little germ. The germ is the spirit in us, and if we don't bring that to life, we don't activate that, then it can't grow, see? And a lot of people are so caught up in the material plane and all of this, it's just 3D down here, but the energy is coming from there. It's always downloaded from there. So what we really have is we have a parallel universe that's existing invisibly all the time next to us that we can't enter into because it's of high vibrational light energy. It's like it's so fast and so high that our eyes can't perceive it. Our eyes of the physical eyes, but let's say the third eye, or like the eyes of the souls, when we develop them, which is like a process that takes time and dedication and meditation and concentration, backwards thinking, all kinds of exercises, slowly but surely to develop that and to have insights into this other world. But it's all the time there, even if we don't see it, you know. So a lot of people are basically living their life just caught up in the 3D plane and totally forget the connection, because the moment we drop the body, because the life is over, so what we have inside this body is a copy of the flesh body that's made out of light, okay? And it's called the ethereal body. And the ethereal body is what keeps these components together, that they don't decompose. Because the moment that is separated from the flesh body decomposes. The components can't continue in the way that they're put together. They're only put together to last as long as that ethereal body is there. It's kind of like the umbilical cord to the spiritual thing. So once that goes, the body drops, then we're not earthbound anymore. Well, we are earthbound then because of our entanglement, because we got so entangled into this plane. So then, that's why I do this headstand experience, you know, when I do like this. It's like this is what you look at the earth when you're after death, because the earth is down there, okay? Oops. Got it. So the earth is down here, now the heavens are up there, and we're stretching to the heavens from the earth up. Then we're in the heavens and the earth is there, and we're looking at the earth and we're having the connections to the earth, but we can't get back into that energy field because we are cut, you know, that ethereal body that was brought into our life when we were born, because when we were born and that things comes out, I mean, even in the conception, it's already like coming together. So that's when the ethereal body is like put together, and then the astral body comes from the spiritual world, carries the soul and the spirit, everything that we brought out of a previous lifetime that we have cleansed and purified with all these plans and ideas and visions. locks into that little thing when it comes out of the womb, out of the mom, and boom, locks into the 3D reality. All of a sudden you're in time. Before there is no time, you're in a timeless space. You are space, really. And then you're like confined to this one finite thing. But that's not you, that's just like the expression of your spiritual self for this journey that you're gonna take on this physical plane. And then it depends on, like, you know, what happens and how much you get. As I said before, the soul is the intermediary between the spiritual and the physical. It's like in between. It's like the stem that connects the two worlds. And in the soul is the ego. The ego is the center of the soul, and it is the one that has the passions, it has the desires, the longings, the pain. All of that happens in the soul environment. That doesn't happen in the spirit. The truth is always true. Doesn't matter if I believe it or not. The truth stands on its own, independent of me liking it or not liking it. It's the truth. Now, you can recognize it, you can ignore it. It stands on its own. Now, for example, if I look at the flower, let's say here's a beautiful rose, right? My liking of the flower doesn't change the existence of the flower. It changes my experience of what I feel about the flower. That's something connected to me, but not connected to the rose. The rose might spark that in me, that I have this experience of like, wow, this is a beautiful flower, and I feel charmed, or I feel uplifted by it. But it does its job independent of me. Now, if I cut this rose and take it off from there, something has happened in the physical plane through my action. Okay, and the action that we do in our life have its own life that continues because of all that we do has an effect, and it continues even if we're stepping out, and that goes. Like, see that tree over there? If I would go with a saw and cut that branch off and cut that off. So through my action, something has changed in the world that had nothing to do with me, but I came and took the action and cut that off. So I changed the evolution of that tree. All of a sudden that tree is missing the limb. But spiritually, the limb is still there. You just can't see it anymore because it's cut off. You know, they made this with the Kirlian photography, where they had like leaves, and there was a piece of the leaf missing, and you couldn't see the piece, but when you took the Kirlian photography, the total leaf was still there as the light form, you know, like the ethereal copy of it, you know. So that never disappears. Even if you lose the arm, it's still, the extremity is there in your spiritual body. It's just you can't move it anymore, you know, because you have no access to that part. So, don't you make some more green juice?
Good idea.
All right, let's go and show you what is out there in nature that is like in abundance, and we can just like